Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. Yesterday, I installed the DRO on my mini mill. Now, what could possibly go wrong? Well, here's the first page of 10 pages of instructions, and you see there's greasy fingerprints there, and there's greasy fingerprints here. And the first thing they say is, on the back of the work table, you drill a hole here, and you drill a hole here, and you measure these measurements. And I measured these measurements, and it worked pretty good. And I thought, heck, I'll just drill this hole right here, tap it, and then use the magnetic scale to determine where that hole goes and just hold it level. That was my whole point, was to get that thing level so that I knew exactly this displacement. Well, I marked it and went on my way. And never went back to double check these numbers. Because, heck, I didn't need to. I had this one, and this one came automatically, so I didn't double check those numbers. And then it goes on about drilling for the detector, and then how to bolt them all up. And then I went on to the, what would this be? This would be the y-axis. And all of a sudden, I'm drilling and tapping and measuring and laying out, and this isn't even close. And so quickly I learned to take this as a suggestion and measure carefully for thine self. For example, let's see, was it this one? No, it was the Z travel. It was the Z travel. So anyway, by careful measurement, I got the Y travel. It talks about mounting the Y travel. And then you have the Z travel. And it gives you a dimension T. And you go over here, and dimension T for my mill is 110 millimeters. So I duly measure up, because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drill one hole and then let the magnetic base detector thing determine where that hole goes. So I drill this in here and drill this in here, and I tap it, and I mount the thing. And then I'm looking at where the detector mounts. This is up on the head, here and here, and it has to go here and here because there's other screws and bolts, and so it has no other place to go. And it's only off by about 1 inch, inch and a half, this T dimension. So I move the thing up again and drill it and tap it, and now it's in the area of this, and then I can finally drill and tap this. And then it was the very last hole I had to drill. Was this M4 8 millimeters deep. And I'm drilling it, and the cutting edge of the tooth breaks through the other surface because it's on the mitered surface where the gib is on the head. And it just kind of breaks through the surface there, and the drill snaps off inside the hole. Well, now how am I going to get that out? And since it had just kind of snapped through the wall, that meant there was only one way I could really get it out. I had to take the head off, take the gib out and pound it out with a punch. So to get the head off, I had to run up to Harbor Freight to get a block and tackle because the head's got to come straight off, or you'll have to unbolt the whole column and lay it down on the side. I ran up to Harbor Freight, got me a little block and tackle. I already have some bicycle hooks in the ceiling. I block and tackled the thing up, got it down, knocked that drill bit out with my punch. I just happened to have a series of punches that'll go in that hole. I knocked it out, filed the burr off on the inside, put the head back on. You know, that's just the way. And my entire day, yeah, that's the one that broke right here, number one. My entire day was spent hooking this thing up, yeah. And here they're showing you the reader and the bracket. Although this is an aluminum bracket, they gave me steel brackets. And in every case, well, 2 cases, I had to shim things up and down to get this detector to follow along this bar. And really, before I can use it, the x-axis bar, and that's what this is here, the x-axis bar, this is the work table right here. Chips can fly and hit that, so I'm going to get a strip of leather like I use on my lathe, and you glue the leather with contact cement up to the work table and the top of the bar here and let it hang over the reader. And a piece of leather works really well. It's flexible, it's durable, it just hangs out and does what it needs to do. And as it soaks up the oil, it's just that much better. And then I had to wire up the transceiver, and this really wasn't a problem other than these wires are incredibly small and there's not a whole lot of room, so there's a lot of feeding the wire into the plug here with a pair of tweezers to get it in there. There's a lot of that going on. So anyway, it's wired up and all the lights are green. Now, in here is how to use my Bluetooth DRO display. And they have instructions. And my question to you is, after going through these, my questions to you is, should I believe what I read? Is this really the way to set it up and configure it? Follow these steps. Okay, boys and girls, until next time, jet out. Ladies and gentlemen, look a here, look a here. Without removing all the covers for the machine, I have a DRO. I move this axis and it reads. I move this axis and it reads. I move this axis and it reads. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just entered the digital era. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.